This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with a mental health professional. Hello, family. Hey, guys. You are listening to the next episode of Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. I am so happy, as always, to be back again here with you. Yes, I am here to check on you, family. I am here to check on you, to empower you so that you live your best life and you expand on your quality of life. And today we are going to talk about SAD. SAD, which is an acronym for Seasonal Affective Disorder. Seasonal affective disorder, because it is that time of year that you guys can be affected by this. However, wait, hold on. Let me just tell you, y'all know what we have to do. If you are watching this, I want you to please, if for the first time or if you've been watching before and you haven't done this, I need you to do this. Your girl needs you to do this. I need you to subscribe, hit that button, subscribe. I need you to like it. And then I need you to share these videos. And please comment. That's what I need you to do. So just take a moment right now, okay? And hit it if you're on YouTube, like it, subscribe, make a comment and share it. And then if you're listening on any and everywhere you find podcasts, please like it and share. Because this is information that I truly do believe that if everybody in the world gets a hold of it, we're going to live in a better place. The living conditions here are going to be so much better. And so that's my intention for the work that I have been doing here on this podcast. All right, y'all. So today, as I've already introduced, we are going to talk about SAD. SAD is an acronym for Seasonal Affective Disorder. All right, so do it how you do it. You say, Andrea, okay, well, what is that? Wait, where you get that from? Did you make that up? No. Andrea did not make that up. So what that is, it is a form of depression. It is really a clinical diagnosis, seasonal affective disorder. And usually it happens to millions of Americans. Millions of American adults suffer from SAD. But a lot of times they don't even know that they're suffering. I will tell you this, upon or before diagnosing SADS, or seasonal affective disorder, you would have had to experience these symptoms consecutively 2 years or more in a row, and it's around the same time every single year. Okay, so I'm about to break down what these symptoms are because I want you to ask yourself, am I experiencing these symptoms, or do I know anyone else around me who look like they could be experiencing these symptoms? Now, the time of year that we're talking about when these symptoms are usually experienced is around right now. We in the fall. I think we like a week in the fall, and here, honey, in Texas, it is still hot. I think we got a little relief just recently, so where it starts to feel like, I mean, we kind of hit 75 degrees or 80 degrees, but we were still well into the 90s, honey, when the first day of fall hit, okay, which was only a week ago. So it starts in the fall and it goes through winter until spring. And these symptoms usually last about 4 to 5 months, okay? And now I want to tell you this, the symptoms are more intense during the darker months. All right. Now, are y'all tracking? All right. Usually more intense during the darker months. And it starts usually in the fall, goes through the winter, and it ends around spring. So about 4 to 5 months. And you would have had to have experienced these symptoms for consecutively 2 years or more. All right. So now here are the symptoms. The symptoms are chronic tiredness. I'm always feeling tired. Poor sleep. I feel like I just cannot get enough sleep. Fatigue. I'm always feeling like I just can't do anything. I just feel fatigued. Like I just went and lifted and I feel like I can't lift anymore. And I'm talking about weights or boxes. And I just feel really fatigued. My body feels fatigued. And this is consistently a low sex drive. If you're experiencing a low sex drive and it lasts this duration, about 4 to 5 months, the same time every year, are y'all tracking? I mean, come on now, pay attention. Sadness, okay, consistent sadness, irritability, okay, trouble concentrating, just a general discontentment. You're just discontent with everything. Everything just gets on your nerves. Every daggone thing just gets on your nerves. Always, the people, the lines, traffic, even when there's no traffic, you're just discontent with life. But it lasts just through the fall until spring, okay, through winter. All right. I told you trouble concentrating and overeating, which results in weight gain. So those are the symptoms of SAD. All right, of SAD. SAD. Those are the symptoms. And remember, those symptoms would have had to last for about 4 to 5 months, and you would have consecutively had to have experienced these same symptoms for more than 2 years. The same time of year for more than 2 years. So 2 years or more, you'd have to have experienced them. Now, not everybody will experience SAD. Not everybody will experience it. Usually what research has found is there's usually a genetic predisposition for you to experience SAD because it is a form of depression. So a genetic predisposition. So let's just say if maybe, and we've talked about this, y'all, so I know y'all know what that is, okay? But maybe your, mom or your dad has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, been diagnosed with depression, schizophrenia, a generalized anxiety disorder. So they have very high anxiety consistently. So if it's already laying dormant in your genetics, even if you've never even experienced depression before, there's a higher probability that you may experience SAD. Or let's just say, even if you don't think about your parents, let's just think about you yourself. So if you have experienced or been diagnosed with depression previously, or high anxiety consistently previously, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, then you have a higher probability than someone who hasn't to develop SAD. Okay. Now, that's facts. I'm just laying down the facts for you because I want you to know so that you're empowered. Once you have the knowledge and you're empowered, then guess what? You get to do something about it. You get to use your power to create change in your life. I want you to be proactive. And this is why I'm teaching you. This is what education does. What we found is there are more people who are diagnosed with SAD in the northern region of the states. Okay. So just to let you know, kind of like Alaska and New England. All right. Or even in the Northeast, in the north part. More so than, let's just say, if you lived in Florida. So what would a good idea be? I'll tell you what a good idea would be. So anybody who lives in the northern part of the United States, and maybe you're dealing with SAD, so maybe we can put a little money to the side. And so every year around the time that the seasons start to change and that you are really losing most of your daylight, chill out in Florida, chill out in the South, where we get more sun. We get more sun longer during the days. We experience more sunlight. So now that we understand what the diagnosis is, which is great, and remember, we just went over the why as to some people may experience SAD and some people don't. And that is in regards to the genetic predisposition, or if you've already been diagnosed with, some type of mental disorder, then, you've already learned that the probability for you to experience that is higher than someone who hasn't. Okay, so we talked about those things. And let me tell y'all that another name for sad is another little short little name, little nickname is called the winter blues. So if you've ever heard anybody talk about the winter blues, that's what they're talking about. And that's what we are talking about today is the winter blues. Okay, so now we've learned about it and we've learned about the why as to who could get it. We've learned about the symptoms of it. Now, honey, let's talk about the treatment because that is also where the power comes in because you can treat yourself or you can get treatment for this disorder, for the winter blues or for SAD. I'm going to give you 4 different things that you can do to treat this disorder. And I just want to tell you that the priority is not in doing just one of these treatments. It's in doing all of the treatments. Okay. So as many as you can do, then that's what you do. So it's not like one of them, just because I named the first one first, you think, oh, that's most important and let's forget about the other 3. No, 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 no. I want you to know that all 3 of these are just as important as the other. However, we are individuals. And this is what I want to teach everybody here. Anytime you show up and you listen to what I'm trying to put down, when you're picking up what I'm trying to put down, okay, when you're listening to what it is that I'm trying to teach, I don't want you to think that every time I teach you something that it applies to every single human being at 100%, because that's not true. We are all different. We are all different and we are all individuals. So what may work for some people may not work for others. And then what may work for others, honey, may not work for some people. But let me just tell you, everything that I teach you has been proven to work. So I want you to hear everything that I'm giving you so then you can go to your healthcare professional and decide which form of treatment is best for you. You hear me? I want you to take what I teach you here and take it to your health professional, your medical professional, whether it's a mental health professional and your primary care physician, okay? Both of them, they need to work together. And you decide because of you and your makeup, what is best for you. Okay, so here's the treatment. So the first one I'm going to talk about is light therapy. Light therapy. And it's also called phototherapy. Isn't that something, honey? As the world has become open to mental health, mental illness, mental wellness, and therapy, we got all kinds of new forms and names and nicknames for therapy. However, this therapy has been around for some time, but it's actually called phototherapy and it's done with light. So if you think about what I'm telling you about the certain regions of our country who experience a lesser amount of light during the day, then some light therapy can be helpful, if that makes any sense. So if during the day they experience more darkness than light, then what happens physically in their body, and this is what could happen, let me just tell you this, is the melatonin in our body can turn up, can get higher. Because, and melatonin that's your natural way, that's your body's natural way to start to shut down for sleep. So if it's dark outside for longer during the day and my body is actually responding to that, the chemicals in my brain is responding to the darkness, then since my body is so miraculous, it's going to be like, okay, let's start to shut down. And the melatonin is going to start raising your level of melatonin and you will want to prepare for sleep because it's so dark. All right. So that is one of the reasons why, people suffer from SAD. And it's one of the reasons why people are more tired. People have more fatigue. You may be irritable because if your body is telling you to go to sleep, but yet and still it's 4:00 in the afternoon, 5:00, 6, and in your mind it's like, well, no, like I want to be up. I want to turn up. You know what I'm saying? I want to connect with people and family, want to go out, want to hit this, want to do that. But your body is like, no, boo, it's time to go to sleep. Because, melatonin is doing what the melatonin is supposed to do. But it's just not tracking. It's just not mixing because of the darkness. You understand that you're living in your surroundings, wherever you're living. If it's dark or longer, then that's what your body is responding to. And I will tell you this, another reason that you will be experiencing these symptoms before, which is why I'm kind of taking you to why the phototherapy can be helpful, is because the serotonin in your body will be lowered because of the lack of sunlight. That's the neurotransmitter in your brain. So that serotonin will be lower and your vitamin D level will be lowered because you're not being exposed to as much sun as necessary because it's darker longer during the day. So this is why the whole phototherapy can be helpful. I think y'all tracking. Got me? And what it is a part of this phototherapy is you actually can kind of look this up to find different medical doctors or different therapists, psychotherapists who provide phototherapy, and they have these light boxes, and the light boxes are tuned up to give you as much light as necessary. And it doesn't have to mirror exactly what sunlight looks like, but they know what they're doing, okay? They give you just as much sunlight or light, that you need, that could actually raise that vitamin D level and raise that serotonin and then tell your melatonin to sit itself down, okay? But this is the thing. So that's what, phototherapy, and you can do that with a professional. Now, I also know people who have actually ordered light boxes for SAD, for the winter blues on Amazon, or they've Google smoogled it and they've ordered these boxes. But I want you to be careful with that. I really want you, even if you did something like that, I still want you to go to and talk to your medical professional. I want you to talk to your therapist, your psychotherapist, your psychiatrist, or find one, or talk to your primary care physician. Talk to someone who is a professional to help to guide you through this, because if in your past you've experienced symptoms from depression before, or bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia, then there are some side effects. I mean, literally, if you've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, not having these lights, not taking in the amount of these lights that you should take in, maybe too much of the lights you could be getting, or maybe the too less of the lights that you could be getting, they could actually trigger a manic episode. So you have to be careful. Doesn't mean that you can't do it, because you've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It doesn't mean that. But what it just means is that if you are going to do light therapy, I want you to do it with a professional. You will not do this by yourself, because it can trigger other illnesses. Okay? It can trigger other illnesses. So that's what you're going to do with the phototherapy, but it is a thing. All right. Now, the second thing is increase your social support. I don't ever want you to be feeling sad. Yeah, it's like a double entendre. I don't want you to be feeling sad or be experiencing these symptoms of seasonal affective disorder and be alone. Be feeling like you have to deal with this on your own. Like you can't tell anybody and no one else can help you. Like absolutely not. Don't live in shame with this, where you're not expressing or you feeling like I need to handle this on my own. No. This is time for you to link up with your support, whether they're friends, whether they're family, whether it's coworkers, and say, come on, let's go out to dinner, whether it's at the church or not, whether it's a social club, whether you're part of a sorority, a fraternity, talk to your friends. Where's your support system? Get with support, tell them how you're feeling, and get up out that house. Get around other people. That's number 2. Okay. So you're going to increase your social support. Number 3, antidepressants. Some people are so afraid of psychotropic medication. They're so afraid of psych meds. Don't be afraid of psych meds. They can change your life for the better. They can be healing. They can be empowering. When you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, there is nothing else that can fix the chemical imbalance but to get those chemicals back balanced by some medication, some psychotropic medication. And let me say this to you. I can understand this. I want to tell you that drugs today, psychotropic drugs, are so much better than they were years ago. This is not the same candy store that you used to walk in years ago. And I'm going to give an example of that. You know, years ago, when you saw someone who was taking psychotropic medication, so medication for mental illness or mental disorders, when we talk about anxiety or depression or bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, when you saw that people were taking these medications, then they were walking around looking like zombies. And I get it. Hell, nobody wants to walk around and look like a zombie where you really feel like you're not even in life. You're just kind of just walking down the street, just like, what's that movie? Like The Walking Dead. Yeah, no. Well, we ain't doing that now. That was back then. But now medication has come so far, and there are so many different types of psychotropic medication. Do not be afraid to take care of yourself. Listen to me. You wouldn't even know. I know you wouldn't know because y'all know that I'm a practicing psychotherapist and I see all types and kinds of people in my practice, which I'm obsessed with. But I mean, I have some very successful heavy hitters that come to see me who are taking psychotropic drugs, performing, and you would never even know it. You would never even know it because people aren't walking around like they used to. They can change your life for the better. There are so many newer medications, honey, that can give you life, that can breathe into your life. Okay? So don't be afraid of taking psychotropic meds because you take your little pill, honey, just like you take a vitamin. Get your life together. Get your mind clear. Let those neurotransmitters start connecting again. And medication can help to do that. Now, I'm going to get off my soapbox about meds, but I don't want you to be afraid of medication. If you need them, then you take them. And then let me tell you this, another thing. If you start to take a medication and it doesn't feel good, usually it takes about 2 weeks for your body to get used to the medication. As I told you, we are all different individuals. And so there is an individualized approach, honey. Just because your friend that you knew or your coworker or somebody that lived down at 4C in your building was taking one of these medications, I'll just throw out Wellbutrin for depression. They were taking Wellbutrin and they told you that they were taking it and they felt good. So then you say, okay, Andrea, I'm gonna try this. And you go to your doctor, your primary care physician, or a psychiatrist, which I prefer for you to do because they specialize in the brain and brain medication. But okay, you go and you get you some Wellbutrin. And then you go, oh, I don't like the way this feels. This got me feeling weird. Andrea said it's supposed to make me change my life. Listen to me. I ain't say, Wellbutrin was going to change your life. Wellbutrin changed the chick down in 4C. What I'm telling you is, oh, okay, medication can change your life. Wellbutrin may not be your thing because of your genetic makeup. You got me? So you go back to your doctor and you tell them your symptoms, your side effects, and how you don't like the medication, and they will change it. And then you try something else. You understand? You don't just give up and don't just throw the whole theory away that medication can change your life. You cannot do that. You have to work stuff for it to work. You have to work a program, my love, in order for it to work. And as I'm giving you this, I want you to do the work. So if the first one doesn't work, you don't just throw all medication off the table. No. You go back to your medical professional and you say, this is not working. I need to try something else. And they have other things. And even a sidebar, nowadays, they actually have a test that you can take. It's a genetic test that will tell you which medications will do better in your body than it will in somebody else's. They take your DNA and they come up with the different categories of medication that will increase your quality of life, that will feel good to you. So that's another thing. That's a sidebar that you could ask your psychiatrist. So, okay, I'm going to antidepressants. So that's what I'm saying. And before I move on just to the last one, we almost done with the antidepressants. I just want to tell you that just because you take antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications, depending on what medications they are and depending on what your symptoms are, you do not have to take this medication. Not everybody. Some people do, and some people should take medication for the rest of their lives, which is fine. I take vitamins every day. You take them like a vitamin. However, some people don't have to take medications every day. You understand? For the rest of your life. You may just have to take medication because you are going through a certain transition or period or have been impacted by something. So today, because I don't want to get off course, because you know I will, honey, and fall down a whole rabbit hole talking about depression and other reasons why you would have these symptoms. But we're talking about SAD today, the winter blues. So if you know, remember, after 2 years consecutively or more of having this during this time, and it's difficult to function because you got to get up, got to go to work, or if you have children, you got to, take care of your children. You said you in a relationship, you want to have some good sex, all those things. And if the winter blues is impeding on your functioning, then you have to do something. All right. And we already talked about the phototherapy. We talked about, the increased social people, your social circle, your social support. And now we're talking about antidepressants. So you may have to take them, and you're going to talk to your doctor about this, but just for this period of time, every year. So every year when you start to feel those symptoms, it may be time to, okay, I probably need to go in to see my doctor and get me a new prescription for my antidepressants until the spring comes, until the winter blues go away. And that's okay. Accept it. If you want to change your quality of life, you have to do the work. Who cares? This is about you. Remember, we're only on this earth for up to 100 years. And many people won't see that. Okay? So while you here, you got to live big, honey. You need to do it all. Leave nothing off the table. If this is what you need, you go get what you need and you take it. And take it consistently how it's prescribed. Don't you go on thinking you some doctor and you going to take it how you want to take it. If things say you're going to take the pill once every day or maybe PRN as needed, but then you going to start freaking it and moving it every other day, 2 times a day, 3 times. That's how you're going to screw it up. Stop. Don't do that. Listen to medical professionals who studied this stuff to help you. Okay, and then the last thing, and y'all know I am a huge proponent of this, is psychotherapy. Number 4. Okay, last but not least, psychotherapy. While you're doing all of this, I believe it, that psychotherapy can change your life. So whether you did the light therapy and that worked for you or not, okay, take that off the list. Okay, whether if you were to tell me, Andrea, I really don't have a social support. So then guess what? What you going to do is you going to use this one, psychotherapy, as your social support. You show up, get you a good therapist. And now there's so many other ways to get you a good therapist. But for me, I just like to give this out. They don't give me anything. I probably need to get them to be a sponsor for my, for this podcast. But because professionals, we pay them, but it's called psychologytoday.com. And I like to start with psychologytoday.com as to finding a therapist, because you can put your zip code in and then they will bring up all of the therapists, and that's who participate on this website. And as professionals, we pay to participate on this website. It's for marketing so that we can be accessible to people who are looking for psychology, for therapy. And so they have a list up there of therapists, they have psychiatrists up there, but you put your zip code in and then you can kind of move around to click what it is that you want, and it will bring up the licensed professionals, and then you get to look at their pictures, and you get to kind of look at their little spiel on how they describe what it is that they do, their thought of practice and how they practice, their hours of operation, and whether they take insurance or cash pay, whether they have a sliding scale. A sliding scale means that depending on your income, they can slide their little scale. So let's just say if their cost for therapy is $300 a session, and you came in and they said, okay, we have a sliding scale. Then what that means is, okay, we will slide this scale appropriately to your needs. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. We'll meet somewhere, I ain't gonna say in the middle, but we're gonna meet somewhere other than that daggone 300, depending on how much money you make and what it is that you can afford to pay for consistent therapy. So Psychology Today is awesome to go on there to find you a therapist, but you want to find you a therapist, and your therapist is a part of your support system. The difference between your therapist and your girlfriends or your cousins, okay, or your mamas, your uncles, your fathers, is that we are licensed and we are trained professionals, okay? So the approach is going to be different. Okay, it's a studied approach. It's an approach that's been researched. All right, it's just not my opinion and what I'm thinking. That's not what a good therapist does. The good therapist has their own therapist and have worked through their own stuff so that they don't project their stuff onto you. Okay, so we are licensed professionals here to help you. Like, come on in, we got you. Okay, so psychotherapy can help you if you are dealing with the winter blues. All right, y'all. And last thing that I am going to say is this. If you are experiencing any of those symptoms that I told you about earlier in regards to seasonal affective disorder, and those symptoms are weighing you down and they are so overbearing or overwhelming to where you are having thoughts of suicide or having suicidal ideation where it's skipping in, skipping out, skipping in, skipping out. I am getting ready to give you the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline because I want you to be here. Remember what I said, I am empowering you to take care of you. Do the work. So here's the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. I'm going to give you this number. I want you to write this number down. And if you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching on YouTube, you come back to this later. You hear what I say or you save it or whatever if you're driving, because I want you to write this number down. Let me tell you something. Anything that we hear at any time that we're hearing it for a reason. And you may not know what that reason is today. Maybe you could be giving this number to somebody else, or you may need it for yourself. Okay? Family member, a friend, you just never know. You're on your way to work. You just never know. So here's the number. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. And then nowadays we have a crisis text line. So you can actually text if you're in crisis back and forth with a professional. It's like a chat. And the text number is 741-741. I'll give it again. It's 741-741. All right, guys. So I want you to use these resources. Okay? Because I want you here. I want you here. And I want you to live your best life. I want to expand. Like I said, when we started this today, I want you to expand on your quality of life. Because like I told you, nobody else is going to do it for you, my love. You are going to have to do it for yourself. And my job is to empower you to do so. So, thank you, family, for joining me again on another episode of Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast by your girl with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. I will see you on the next episode. See you soon.